welcome back to my channel, you guys.
So, first of all, guys, I want to say thank you for all of you guys who have been helping my wife to do what it is that she wanted to do. She's been talking about doing this for a while. Well, not necessarily the vlogging. Yes, she has. I take that back. Ever since I met her, she's been talking about a few things writing her book, vlogging. I think she wanted to be like TMZ and shit. And, doing something in Hollywood. So, or in California. So, we're in California, but not the state. So, I gave her part of her dream.
Royal family. As I promised, if our story time on how my king and I met reached 100 views, we would come back and tell the story of our first date. So, thanks so much for making that video reach 103 views. I greatly
Thank you
appreciate it.
guys for helping her to make her dreams come true. This vlog, she has dreams of it becoming big, and like I told her, hopefully one day it'll be everything that she wants it to be. And until then, every moment is a learning moment, and no matter how many views she gets, how many followers she has, subscribers, whatever you want to call them on YouTube, she just got to keep on doing what it is that she wants to do.
Now, story time on my king and I's first date. Come closer, you guys. Don't be afraid. Come closer. Okay, so give y'all the tea while I sip my coffee. Our first date was on a Friday night. I remember because I was at work and I was in a pattern of having guys cancel on me. Like, just stand me up. Just, yeah, let's go out. I've been waiting to kick it with you. Da da da, yada 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 yada. And then stand me up. Like, I was the most stood up person. I'm telling you, in 2013 and 2014, the most stood up person. So my king and I had been talking like constantly, like texting. So I was kind of really feeling him. So I was like, I really want to go on this date with this guy. So I reached out to him and said something on the lines of, "Hey, are we still going out tonight? Doing a follow up." And he replied back, "Yes." I think I can't remember what he said actually, but I know he said yes, basically. So I get home from work. I start getting ready for my date. I know I was super nervous, really nervous, because I could just tell from the type of guy he was. He was different than the type of guys I was used to dating. I knew he was younger than me, and I had was dating younger guys at the time. But it was just something about him. It was just like he's different. He was different. So he picks me up. I lived in apartments, so I didn't expect him to come to my door. I didn't expect that. But he, texted me, let me know he's out front. So I come out, and it's this big ass truck. I want to say it's a Suburban. I'm not good on tennis shoes and cars. Okay. But I want to say it was a Suburban. It was nice. Music was pumping through it. I was like, yeah, that's my type of dude right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like a thuggish type. So I get in the car. He did not open the door for me. He was in the driver's seat, and he just like pushed the door open for me. Hold on. Yeah, he didn't get out the car. He pushed the door open for me, and it didn't bother me because I was going on a date. I wasn't stood up, so at the time I wasn't tripping. Halfway to where we were headed to, he looks at me and says, "Oh, I'm sorry about the music." Now he got rap music pumping, you know. I love hip hop. I love rap. I love that. I was like, "Oh no, I don't mind." You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't tripping. You can keep it going. So he's like, "I told myself I was gonna turn it down when you got in the car." So we're driving, and I'm wondering to myself, like, where is he taking me? You know. We end up going to Longhorn, and he got out and came around, opened the door for me. We're walking into the Longhorn restaurant, and we get in, and it's dimly lit. You guys know how Longhorn is. In case you don't, it's dimly lit in there, and it looks really, really nice. I had never been, so I was excited. And we get inside, and he goes to tell the lady how many, party of two or whatever. I noticed for the first time that he has like keloids on the back of his neck. The old me would have been like, right? This is how you can miss your blessing. This is how you can miss your blessing, I'm telling you. Off of something so petty, I would have been like, So I looked at it. I felt no kind of way about it. I said, this is the first time I said, this guy, yeah, this gonna be my man. So he came back and sat beside me on the bench, and I felt like I was sitting next to a boss type, and he got me. Like, I just felt that secure on the first date. I felt it. This is no lie. So we get to our seat or whatever, and he sits across from me. I remember the exact booth we sat in. I'm a broccoli connoisseur. I can tell you the best restaurants that have the best broccoli and who has the worst. I love broccoli. Longhorn has some good broccoli. So I was eating my broccoli. I was like, "Excuse me, I'm eating with my fingers." And he was like, "That's okay. Like, do your thing." I was like, wow, like, no judgment. I always put my gum in my glass. It could be a glass of wine. It could be liquor, whatever it is. I would just drop it in there to hold it. Not that I don't have another piece, but I still want that one, so I always drop it in there. And people be like, freaking out about it. But that's something that I do. And I told him, I put my gum in my wine glass, so don't want to freak you out. And he was just like, "Nah, you good." Like, wow. Like, wow, really? So we sat there, and we ate, and we talked, and we ate, and we talked. And after the date, when we were leaving out of the restaurant, his truck was on. I'm like, "Did you leave the truck on the whole time?" He was like, and no, I just started it up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. But I had never seen that before. Never. We're talking 2014. Okay? I never dated a dude who started up his vehicle before we got to it. Like, never. And I had and my king was dressed really, really nice. You know, he had on phone poses, and he was dressed really, really nice. And I could just tell, like, he had a different swag. Like, he might have a little bit of money. You know what I mean? And I hadn't been with dudes like that before. And I'm gonna be honest. Like, I had girlfriends who always dated guys that were the hustlers, the baller dudes who always had the money, who brought them the Fendi bags, the Gucci bags, who took them on trips, who paid their car note, paid their rent when they was behind late. Dudes who did all that. You know what I mean? I never had it. But I had friends who did, so it was like, the dudes that were like that, they never even talked to me. So on the ride home, you know, we talked, listened to music, and he dropped me off. He walked me to the door. And I remember giving him a hug at the door. And I went in for the kiss. I was going in for the kiss, okay? Something about him was like different. And I wanted to get a kiss. So I went in for the kiss on the lips, like, and he curved me. And gave me his cheek. is weird. Like, a kiss on the cheek, that is really weird. Did this nigga just really swerve me though? Yeah, swerved me. Told me good night. I might have went to Facebook, my go-to at the time, and said something like, went in for the kiss, got swerved, or something like that. And then he texted me and said something like, I didn't know you wanted a kiss. I already gave you one. I just want you to know that you're different, and I'm gonna treat this relationship different than I would any other relationship that I've been in, because I want you to know that you're different. And it kind of made me feel better about being swerved. Further along, we started dating, and I knew this man's gonna be my husband.
And we know my version of the story is the correct version. Um, However, Erica has her interpretation, and I respect her interpretation of it because I can't get inside of her mind. Hell, we've been married. How long have we been married now? I can't even remember. Seems like forever. But I still can't figure her out sometimes. Yeah, you know what that means, right? But anyway, I'm going to give you our first date. Okay. So, this is how it went. So, if you all can recall, when we first met, we started talking or texting. She had three categories of friends: those she texts, those she talked to on the phone, and you know, just those that she just associated with or whatever. Anyway, because we didn't really talk on the phone a lot the first month, we just texted a lot. I didn't know whether this first date was really going to go through. So, what I can tell you is that the first date was on a Friday. I can't remember the exact date, and I'm usually pretty good with dates, but I can't remember it offhand. But what I will tell you is that this first date was special. I picked her up. Well, rewind. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Before it was official, before I was en route to pick her up, the previous day, so the Thursday before, she texted me and she said, "Well, are we still going out?" And me, being the person that I am, I'm trying to think of every reason in the book not to go out, you know, because that's really not me. I'm like a laid back, chill type dude. But I'm like, she playing anyway. She probably gonna cancel at the last minute. I ain't got time to be, making plans to do nothing. Because when I do something, I want to plan it. So I'm not just gonna be willy nilly, making plans, and then all of a sudden I gotta cancel them at the last minute. So she texts me and she says that. So I'm like, okay, maybe she's serious. So anyway, fast forward, I get off work a little early on that Friday. So I go home, take a shower, get cleaned up, smell good and stuff. You know what I mean? You know how I do. I think I drove my truck. Well, I know I drove my truck to pick her up. So the truck, it was my excursion. So it was a big boy. And I had I play my tunes. Like, I love music. I love rap, especially. Because, I'm hood. I didn't know which building she lived in. So I called her and I said, "Hey, I'm outside." But anyway, she's like, "I'm coming." So I'm like, "All right." So I'm like, "Okay, I wonder how long this is going to be." So I'm sitting there. Then all of a sudden, she pops up. And then she got in the truck. And I'm like, "Well, dang, I wanted to open the door for you, et cetera, et cetera." So anyway, she's like, "It's okay." So, she all do 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 do. So everybody who know Erica, she's just like the most laid back person that you'll ever meet. But anyway, so I turned my music down a little bit, but I didn't turn it off. And so I still had my music playing or what have you. And I'm like, oh man, I meant to change my selection of music because like this music I was playing Scarface. Um, um, which one was it? I can't remember which Scarface album it was. And it just so happened that it was the same Scarface album that she had in her CD player at the time. And I didn't know that, but it was like one of her favorite Scarface albums too. So I was like, really? So she didn't mind me playing my type of music, had curse words in it, etc. I'm like, oh, she's so sweet, but she don't mind me playing my curse word music. Okay, okay. Anyway, um, we go from her house in District Heights, and we go to dinner, and I take her to the Longhorn and Waldorf. So of course we drive and talk and having conversation. So we get out there, and we're waiting to be seated, having small talk, conversation um, at the restaurant. So we finally get seated. She orders, um, I believe it was crusted Parmesan chicken, and of course I have a steak. She orders a glass of wine, and I think she was always like our first few times, including the very first time that we went out. She was like really, really nervous. Like when I say nervous, like you could visibly see her hands shaking. And the only thing I would always tell her, is I would be like, Erica, it's just me. It's just me. So every time that we would go out the first couple of times, she would be like visibly shaking. But anyway, on this particular day, she ordered her food. I believe she ordered a glass of wine, and I was like, well, why don't you get a bottle? So I can't remember if she ordered a bottle or not. Um, and, I probably had my Hennessy or whatever it was at the time that I was drinking on, but it was, of course, dark. But um, to progress this story a little bit faster, um, one thing notable that she did was she put her gum in her glass. And she said she was so nervous to do that because she thought I was like bougie. And I'm like, bougie? I'm from Southeast, bruh. Like, I might be doing good now. Like, no matter whatever my status was in life, is in life, like, don't do me like that. And you just be you. That's all I want you to be. Just be you. So, anyway, the day progresses. Like, we're having really good conversation. I mean, like, some really thought provoking conversation, and, we have a good time. So, we finish dinner, finish talking. Like we must have sat there for I can't remember how long talking after we were finished eating. Of course, she didn't want any dessert. She doesn't like sweet stuff. So, well, she likes sweet stuff. Me, but no, but she doesn't eat too much sweet stuff. Now she eats a little bit, but she doesn't eat too much. But that particular night, she didn't eat anything. Um, and I had remote start on my truck. So before we left out, I started the truck up. It was November, the beginning of November. So it was a little cool outside. Not cold, cold, but it was cool. So I wanted to warm the truck up a little bit, make sure, it was a little warm when we got in. So when we walked outside the restaurant, if you know the Longhorn and Waldorf, it you park well where I parked at least was like behind the restaurant. So when we walked around the corner and she saw the truck was on, she was like, "You left your truck on?" And I was like, "Nah, I got that remote stop." So she was like, oh, okay. like like it was something. I was like, girl, that's nothing. You know what I mean? But anyway, we I helped her into the truck, of course. If you know the excursion, that's a monster truck, 44-gallon gas tank, etc. For all the guys out there, they probably know the women like, well, whatever. I don't know what no excursion is, but it was a big truck. So I helped her up. I got in. We driving, talking. We didn't do anything else that night. I was respectful of her time. Um, she probably got home about maybe 11 something. But she had Alicia at home and the other girls were at home at that time. Um, but anyway, fast forward a little bit. So we're driving home, you know. Um, I can't remember if we held hands or anything. I really can't. Um, that would be for our second date that I remember, but I don't know. I don't remember it happening on this date in particular. Maybe we did when we was walking out the restaurant though, but I can't remember for sure. But anyway, again, great conversation. The conversation never ceased. Um, so anyway, we fast forward. We get back to her apartment. So I pull up and I'm like, I'm parking and I'm gonna, walk her, make sure she good. Like it's dark. You know what I mean? I know these streets out here. You feel me? So I'm gonna make sure she good. So her building was the second building or the third building. I can't remember exactly. But she's like, so we walking. And I'm like, well, did you have a good time? Asking her, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah, I had a really, really good time. I'm like, yeah, you just saying that shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, whatever. So she's like, no, I had a good time. I'm like, well, that's good. I'm like, well, hopefully we can go out again pretty soon, you know? And she's like, yeah, I hope so too. I was like, well, you just let me know when you're ready. You know what I mean? Because, I'm ready. I'm game. So we was making plans for the next date before we even got to the door. So, walking, talking. So we get to the door and I'm like, all right, well, you want me to walk you upstairs? So she was like, no, I'll be fine. I was like, well, all right, cool. So I was like, clue number one, she's respectable. You know what I mean? Like she's a respectable young lady. Like I ain't getting them draws on the first date, which is cool. You know what I mean? I wasn't looking for that. You know what I mean? I didn't did a in my life, and I'm good. You know what I mean? So anyway, um, so before she goes in the door, I'm like, oh, she says, before she goes in the door, she's we're about to give each other a hug. So instead of instead of a hug, I don't know what her thought was, but my thought was hug because me, being a respectable young man that I am, I didn't want to turn her off. This was our first date. But she was thinking kiss. Let me tell y'all what happened. If we could reenact this, I would so love it. So I'm going in for the hug. Imagine this. I'm going in for the hug. She's coming in like she's about to give me lips. And I'm like, you feel me? So I felt like, like, because I didn't, because like she played it off really well, like really well. She ended up hugging me. So we, of course, hugged at the same time, of course. But then, so we like, all right, well, she's like, well, let me know when you get home. Woo, woo, woo. I'm like, all right, cool. So, I get back in my truck and I'm driving. And I can't remember if she put something on Facebook or I can't remember exactly when I found out that she was trying to give me a kiss. But bruh, can you imagine that? It was the funniest date that I've ever had. Like, bruh, if I knew she was trying to give me a kiss, I would have gave her a kiss. Like, yeah, I would have gave you some of these chocolate lips, girl. But she get all the chocolate lips she want now, you feel me? Because that's my baby. But that was our first date. And I'm just trying to tell you, like, we got some classic moments, man. To like some of you guys have been around us. And like some of you guys that know me, that like know me, you know what I mean? Like y'all already know how I get down. Like it's a good time always. You feel me? But some of you guys, you know me, but you don't know me. You feel me? So you don't know how to take me. But I'm a laid back dude. I just like having a good time. But I love you guys. Man, I appreciate you guys watching this. I appreciate you guys supporting my wife. For real. 100%. All you guys that keep it 100, trust me, it never leaves my mind, man. Whatever you guys do, I'll support you 100%. I love you guys. Thank you.